Oxford is a sleepy town, isn't it? Perhaps you've been there this summer, maybe to ride the ferry across the Tret Avon or go for a shady stroll followed by a scoop of ice cream.
It wasn't always so sleepy. Its streets were once filled with sailors from nearly every corner of the globe.
It even housed one of the biggest and most successful businesses on the whole Eastern Shore. And Jim Duffy of Secrets of the Eastern Shore is here on Throwback Thursday to tell us about the glory days of Oxford and its connection to the American Revolution.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So what time period are we talking about here?
We are in colonial times.
Okay, American
1740.
Revolution.
Okay,
That's
moving
the
back.
glory days of Oxford, and it was all because of one man whose name I suspect you know. Robert Morris.
Okay.
Robert
yeah.
Morris Inn, little lunch, little special occasion dinner kind of thing. So Robert Morris, like the Beatles, got his start in Liverpool. That's where he was born. It was a very blue-collar upbringing. He was supposed to be, he got apprenticed to a blacksmith. He was supposed to become a nail maker. And then he kind of disappears from history for a little bit, and he never became a nail maker. Instead, he became one of the richest guys in the colonies. He reappears in like 1738, coming to Oxford, working with this trading company called Foster Cunliffe. And they've sent this young man to run a little branch office in Oxford. All their business is down by like Jamestown and things like that. He turned that branch office into the biggest business on the Delmarva Peninsula. There were soon 5 Foster Cunliffe offices all over. They're bringing ships in, they're dealing in tobacco and pig iron and salt and everything back then. He was like a colonial Eastern Shore version of an Amazon or a Microsoft or something like. It was the biggest company that there was. And yeah, it was all one guy, brought all of this, and so they're talking soon there's like 7, 8 giant ships in Oxford all the time, sailors from all over the world. It's hard to imagine nowadays when you walk through those sleepy towns. But it was quite the decade in the 1740s.
So what was he like as a person?
For a guy who had that blue-collar upbringing, he sure developed a taste for rich things. He loved the finest silver, the finest furniture. He had a giant library with all these fancy books about like philosophy and ethics. Maybe he should have studied those ethics books a little bit more because Foster Cunliffe and him did do some business in the slave trade. It wasn't a major part of their business, but I wish he'd read some of those ethics books maybe a little bit more. And he also didn't do much for commitment. He had 3 kids, but never got married.
Oh, wow.
But the big question about him is what if? Because he died young. This is what happened. July of 1750. A ship comes into Oxford. It's called the London Merchant. And there's a ceremony they got to go through. Robert Morris has got to go out there, greet the ship, and then he's got to come back, and they're supposed to fire the cannons. He goes out there, he greets the ship, he has a toast with the captain. He gets back in his ship, and he starts coming back. Now, there's 2 legends about what happened.
Okay.
One of them is Robert Morris had a dream the night before that he was going to die that day, and almost didn't go, but said, it's just a dream. The other legend is that the captain on the London Merchant, a fly landed on his nose. And he brushed the fly off of his nose. And his soldiers at the cannons took that as their signal to fire.
Oh, no.
And they hit Robert Morris in the arm. Wound got infected, and he died. So he's not even 40 years old. So what he could have turned Oxford into, this like huge, wonderful businessman, is kind of a question everybody asks who studies the history of Oxford. What would have happened if that accident didn't happen?
But the work he,
go ahead. So, but the work he did pay off for the country. How so?
It did. So the eldest, the guy who inherited the biggest piece of his fortune was his son, Robert Morris Jr. He lived in Philadelphia. He turned that Oxford fortune into a giant fortune. By the time the Revolution came, he was the richest man in the colonies. They named him financier of the Revolution.
I like that.
And you know, the Revolution wasn't easy. There was a lot of times when Valley Forge, all that stuff, people don't have enough food, don't have enough weapons. He's the guy who made it work and made sure that the Continental Army always had enough weapons, always had enough food. He was always taking out loans here, putting his own stuff up for collateral. And all kinds of historians wonder what would have happened if Robert Morris Jr. wasn't there to finance the Revolution.
Interesting.
So our independence, the money that paid for it, its roots are in Oxford.
Jim Duffy, Secrets of the Eastern Shore, another fantastic story. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
Thanks for
you,
having
Jim.